We're here in South Africa's stunningly beautiful Eastern Cape with Nduna hunting safaris, and we're hunting eland. Now there's two main subspecies of eland, the southern or common eland and the giant eland, which can be found up in Central and Western Africa. We're hunting the common eland, which don't quite grow to be the big 950 kilo monsters they can find up in the Kalahari, and that's because eland aren't actually indigenous to this particular part of Africa. They've been brought in, same as a number of other species, and put on hunting farms such as this. However, they're not easy to hunt. In fact, we've been after this boy for 3 days solid. Our best option for hunting them has been to stay across the hillside and then spot the valleys on the far side. As the eland move between the brush, you sometimes get a glimpse. But whatever happens, as soon as you see them, you've got to make a plan and make it quickly. As soon as they disappear into the thick stuff, it's almost impossible to get in. You need to get them at times when they're out in the open. So the days here start very early, and that's often the best time to get eland moving around. They will graze out on the plains of an evening, and then they'll move back into the brush during the day. The topography here at Nduna is extremely exciting to hunt in. You move around one corner, and there could be a herd of blesbuck in front of you, or a herd of impala, or worse still, giraffe. There's certainly no escaping from those giant periscope eyes. Our first sighting was an eland bull feeding out in a clearing. Our plan for the afternoon was to wait for the animals to emerge from the brush, feed up onto the plains, and around 4 o'clock head into them. That would give us a sparse cover at the bottom of the hills with the animals out in the open, and the plan worked perfectly. The only problem was, the eland didn't want to play ball. We got within 100, maybe 110 yards of the bull, which was stood perfectly. I was up on the sticks, ready to take the shot, and then I saw 2 horns emerging behind. And although the animal is huge, you just can't risk taking that shot, the bullet passing clean through the animal and striking the animal behind. With the .30-06, which is what I was hunting with today, it wouldn't be enough to kill the animal at the back. By then the sun was falling in the sky and had disappeared behind the hills, which meant that our opportunity had passed. So I had to tip my cap and then just gently let them wander off. And so, moving on to another afternoon, and this is where it starts to get really tough. After 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you have literally an hour to an hour and a half to get into the animals before the sun disappears over the mountains and you're finished. Gavin knows his farm extremely well, and he just seems to know where the animals like to be. So we just have to trust his judgment, and off we go. Through the thorn bushes, across the valleys, and lo and behold, there they are again, crossing in front of us. The only thing was, we just left it a little bit too late, and the sun had already fallen in the sky. It was just not worth taking a shot. I've got to be absolutely sure I can connect properly, that the point of impact is going to be exactly where I want it to be, and that we can retrieve the animal. And at 400 to 500 kilos, that's no mean feat. There's a really good chance that because the eland weren't disturbed, they'd continue feeding up onto the higher plains and then remain there for the evening. So we decided to back off and leave it for the following morning. So the plan was, early morning, get up, see if we could spot them on the plains and cut them off before they got back into the thick bush at the far end of the estate. As the eland were feeding down, they were moving at some pace. They've got very long strides, and even though we tried our best to keep up, they were just 1 step ahead of us. But then they disappeared into the brush at the bottom, and we knew that they were going to appear on the far side of the valley. Gavin got us into position, set up on the sticks, and from there, we just had to wait. We had a full view of the meadow at the far side of the brush, and we knew that we'd be able to see them when they emerged. And lo and behold, there comes the bull, followed by the 2 cows. The target area is big, but the point of impact is absolutely critical. The best option for me from the distance that we were looking at was a double lung shot. Now of course, a high heart shot is the preferred route, but I just didn't want to take a risk at 190 yards that he could just shift his position slightly before I'd had a chance to take my shot. So I was on the sticks, lovely and steady, and he stood perfectly broadside. Aimed about 30%, 40% up the body, and then gently squeezed the trigger. The shot connected perfectly, the blood loss was instantaneous, and within a few feet the animal had lay down and passed. And I couldn't have hoped for better results. There is so much game and the populations are so healthy. It really is a pleasure to see all of the animals around here, even if we don't see the one that we want. So another incredible hunt here in South Africa and another phenomenal experience with Nduna hunting safaris. And of course, a magnificent Eland bull that is about to deliver 350 kilos of biltong to a local game fair this weekend.